Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on the Phenom Boxing SG-300S training gloves. So stay tuned. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here. Today I'm doing a review on the Phenom Boxing SG-300S training gloves. I got mine in the yellow colorway, 14 ounces in Velcro. You can also get this in lace up, anywhere between 12 to 18 ounces with a total of 3 colors to choose from. It's made of full, genuine Italian leather on the exterior of the glove, with a satin liner on the inside of the hand compartment, and utilizes layered foam padding over the knuckles that I say is about medium in firmness, and the gloves are manufactured in Pakistan. Now, this is going to be Phenom's latest glove to their current model lineup, as well as their most premium. To me, this is their highest end model and also their most expensive. And to me, I believe that they made this glove to really compete with all the high-end gloves that are currently out there in the market. The Winnings, the Flies, the Barracks, the Bayonettas, all the premium gloves that we know about. To me, that's what Phenom was really aiming for, in my opinion, with this glove. And to be honest with you, I feel like they did a really good job with this model. Out of all the Phenom gloves I've used in the past, this is definitely my favorite, not because it's the most expensive and because it uses Italian leather, but there's features on this glove that they've really tweaked and kind of perfected over their previous models, which obviously we'll discuss here in more detail here in a second. But before we discuss the details and go over the review of this glove, I did want to go off of their website. There was some information here that I didn't want to butcher, and there's just way too much to remember, basically kind of telling the backstory on this particular model. Now, this is obviously from their website, so it's going to sound, you know, super hyped up, and they're going to use a lot of their own technical terms, but this is easier for me to read it to you guys so that you guys can see what they were trying to achieve from the Phenom side of it. So Phenom Boxing, we don't settle, every punch, every round, etc. When we set out to build the 300 series gloves, we had one goal: take everything we knew and push it further. Better fit, better feel, which I think they did. More protection, which I also think they did, and no compromises. So the one big change they did with this glove compared to their previous models like the SG-202 and the other ones, the search for superior foams. It started with a core shock absorption. We knew we could do better. First, we tore apart our gloves layer by layer, breaking down how impact traveled through them. The outer layer needed more protection, so we went on a hunt. We scoured local sources first, sticking to environmentally responsible options, but we weren't satisfied. So we widened the search: the UK, Europe, the United States, China, Japan. After relentless testing, we landed on a high-performance outer foam, which should be this outer foam right here, from Japan. Legendary for its resilience and shock absorption. But that wasn't enough. Inside the glove, we needed something just as elite for impact dispersion. After trial, we locked in the perfect inner foam from a UK-based supplier, balancing protection with supreme comfort. Now, let's take a little pause right there. This foam that they used in here, again, I know I mentioned Winning earlier and the higher end gloves that they're competing with. To me, that's what, in my opinion, that's what they were trying to achieve with the foam feel, was like a Winning MS series glove, which I think they actually did a really good job with that. Now, you know, as far as it being sourced from Japan and it's Japanese and it's a UK foam, I don't know all the details unless I cut these gloves open. And even if I did cut these open, I wouldn't be able to tell if this foam was from Japan, right? So with any of these manufacturers, and you're basically taking their word for it, right? So, but just from using the gloves in training and doing mitt work and training with these gloves, hitting the bag and whatnot, you could definitely tell that it's pretty comparable to the Winning style of foam, meaning that the consistency of it, when you first press down on it, it does have a softer texture, or softer feel, should I say, to it when you push down on this outer foam. But the more you kind of push into the glove, into the knuckle area, it compresses very nicely and gives you a really good layer of shock absorption. So it's almost deceptive in the way it feels, where you initially feel it on the outside and you're like, okay, it feels pretty soft. But the more I kind of push into the foam and really compress it, you can definitely feel, just like the Winnings, if you have a pair of Winnings at home and you start feeling it, you'll know what I'm talking about. you can feel it really compress on the inside. And to me, that's really where the similarity, at least with the Japanese foam that they're using with this particular model. The next thing is going to be different between this and the other models they have is the pursuit of premium leather. Next up, leather. It had to be tough, flexible, and feel incredible. We started close to home, but good wasn't enough for the 300 series. So we cast the net wider, hunting across the UK, Turkey, Europe, and China, testing everything we could get our hands on. The breakthrough, Italy. A leather supplier who could craft exactly what we needed, supple yet strong, built to take a beating. It didn't just look and feel premium, it was made to survive the hardest rounds, the toughest fights, and the daily grind of elite training. So, pause there. The leather, this is going to be Italian style leather, and you can definitely notice that this is an upgrade in terms of the actual leather quality compared to their other models. Their other model that use the genuine leather is your premium Pakistan style leather, wherever they source it from, but nothing that you would consider out of this world or out of this realm that you haven't seen already. They also have their synthetic sparring gloves as well, which I did a review on months ago. So there's definitely an upgrade. You could definitely tell the leather on here. It has a much more premium feel to it. It has a very nice supple feel, and it has a little bit more of a stronger like leather smell to it. And it has more of a satin finish to the leather itself, but you can definitely tell it's a little bit thicker, and it just, again, it has a much more premium feel when it comes to the leather compared to their other models. So that's going to be the second big difference in terms of the design and the actual materials used in this glove compared to previous models. It's not synthetic, and they don't use their standard leather. They use an Italian leather. Now, don't get that confused for this glove being made in Italy. It's not. This is just they source the leather from Italy, and then they make these in Pakistan. There's a lot of other brands that currently do that. Super Rare does it with their Italian line. There's multiple brands that do that. Leone, I'm forgetting a bunch, but basically they use Italian leather, but they're made in Pakistan, which is not a bad thing. It's just something that I want to clarify. Next up, enhanced fit and comfort. Materials matter, but fit is everything, which I agree with. We wanted these gloves to mold to your hands, delivering that locked-in custom feel. The answer, another layer of soft precision engineered Japanese foam on the inside, fine-tuning the fit for unbeatable comfort, support, and responsiveness. We didn't stop there. The inner lining needed to be durable, moisture wicking, comfortable, enough to go the distance. So we found a material that does it all, keeping the hands dry, locked in through every session. So the material on here to me is pretty much very similar to the other satin liners out there. It's nothing I feel that's groundbreaking or what we haven't seen already in terms of the inner liner. So that's kind of essentially the same. One thing that's nice is that the back of the thumb has kind of like this micro suede that feels very luxurious on the inside. And I feel that Phenom is one of the companies that does the best at hand ergonomics and comfort. Like, I haven't ran into a Phenom glove that hasn't been comfortable. Every glove I've used from them has always been really comfortable from the get-go, and the more so you break it in, they even get more comfortable. So in terms of hand ergonomics and comfort, Phenom does it really well when it comes to all of their gloves being super comfortable. And you can definitely feel that in the hand compartment, which we'll discuss in more detail here in a second. And then the 300 series is built for complete protection. Our head guard went through. Okay, so they're talking about the rest of their equipment. So they did come out with a head guard as well as a groin protector that went with this. So it's essentially, you can get this as a complete sparring set. So enough of that off their website. From a design standpoint, you can see it's a very clean, simplistic looking glove. Again, the Italian leather has a very supple finish to it with a satin finish to it. It has a little bit of a texture, not much. You have your Phenom logo in white on the back of the glove right there. Rotating, you do have an attached thumb at the very tip of the thumb. You have a grip bar on here that's pretty firm and large with ventilated holes above the grip bar as well as on the inner portion of the thumb. This is all yellow, so the piping here is yellow as well. The Velcro strap on this is a triple ribbed type of Velcro strap, and to me that's just purely aesthetic. And each one of those ribs in the middle is actually stitched into the leather. So I definitely like the look of that. I like the look of this stitched in leather on the strap because it's not just flat. It gives it a little bit of contrast to the rest of the glove, right? It makes it look a little bit more unique. And it kind of mimics the look of their lace-up gloves with the triple cuff on the back. It kind of has that look to it. So I definitely like the fact that they did that and didn't just leave the Velcro strap just flat. So it gives it a more unique look, and it kind of stands out compared to their other gloves when it comes to that. That way, if you did have the 300 series gloves like I have here, you know that based off of the Velcro strap that you have the 300 series glove, if that matters to you. So again, I showed you guys the standard polyester satin liner, the Velcro strap. Back of the wrist, you're looking at about an inch of firm density foam with a softer foam lined up against your skin. The inside of the wrist, you're looking at about, I'd say, a half an inch of medium density foam on the inside that comes up on both sides and ends right where the stitching is at. You also have an embroidered yellow Phenom right there on the inner part of the wrist, all yellowed out. I guess from a design standpoint, probably would have liked it to have a little bit of contrast when it came to the palm side, because you have the Phenom logo in white on the back. It would have been maybe kind of cool to have that Phenom in white right here on the inside. Just kind of give a little bit of contrast on the palm side of the glove. Not a big deal, but would have been something cool to see with the glove. And then on the inside, you also have the tag. It says SG-300S, 14 ounces inside, and then made in Pakistan with your warning label on the inside of the glove. So overall, a very clean looking glove. Now, quality wise, these gloves are very, very nice. I mean, the leather on here, like I mentioned earlier, is awesome. You can see the stitching throughout the glove. Looks pretty meticulous. I mean, there's nothing on here that looks rushed or looks out of place. No actual threads sticking out. Everything is done very well. You can see the Velcro strap. The stitching on there on the back looks really good. Stitching on the inside portion of the bottom of the cuff looks really done well. No exposed foam, which you definitely shouldn't expect from a glove at this price point. You know, the stitching right here looks really good. A little bit of bunching right there at the very bottom, but nothing crazy. So that's the left glove. That all looks really good. Here's the right glove. Leather looks nice. Stitching on the outside looks really good. On the Velcro strap, all the way through. On the palm side, thumb attachment looks good. Where the thumb meets the index finger, that area looks really clean as well. It's all done very nicely. The other great thing is these gloves are pretty much on point with weight. So when I put them on the scale, the left glove came in at 13.9 ounces and the right glove came in at 14 ounces exactly. So both gloves are pretty much exactly on weight at 14 ounces, which is great to see, which also tells me that when they're putting these gloves in and going through their final inspection, they're actually weighing the gloves out before they ship them out. And again, for a glove of this price point and what they're looking at selling these for and what they're targeting, I think that's a great thing that you have gloves that are on point with weight. And it shows you that they're being detailed. Glove is very well balanced, so it's not top heavy or bottom heavy, so the distribution of weight through the middle section of the glove is done very well. And then symmetry, putting them next to each other, same exact height and width. You're looking at about 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches thickness of foam padding. You can see the pre-curved fist. It's pretty much identical on both gloves. Also the Phenom logo is located where it needs to be at, centered on the back of the glove. Not too high, not too low. Thumb positioning on both gloves looks good. And again, the height where the Velcro strap is at looks good. Same thing with the palm opening, piping on the palm side. That is all done very nicely as well. So in terms of sizing, that all looks really good. And symmetry. Comfort-wise, probably one of my favorite things about this glove is how comfortable they are. And again, I kind of go back to talking about Phenom and just their hand ergonomics. They're very good. So you put your hand in the glove. First things first, wrist support feels good. Inner liner feels great throughout the entire glove. I don't feel like there's really any excess material towards the knuckle area or the fingertips. Thumb position is perfect. Piping at the base of the thumb isn't too restrictive, so you don't feel like your hand circulation is getting, or your thumb circulation is getting cut off. And it's nice and deep, so even when I make a fist, I don't feel like my thumb jams at the very tip of the glove, or should I say the thumb compartment isn't jammed. So when you're landing your punches, it feels really good as well. So that is nice and comfortable. The hand compartment itself, I'd say is 80% broken in when you first get the glove, so they're not stiff by any means. They're not also extremely soft and broken in like a horsehair glove where you can just open and close with no resistance whatsoever. This has a little bit of resistance to it, but it's still good enough to where you can open to catch and parry shots if you wanted to. So very comfortable in that regard. Good deep finger compartment, not too wide, not too narrow. So I don't feel like my fingers are kind of crowding against each other. And there's a rolled up piece of liner, which feels like, yeah, it feels like a rolled up piece of liner with maybe a little piece of like foam underneath it that acts as like a secondary grip bar, and it covers the stitching. So similar like Winning actually uses kind of like a piece of leather that they roll up on the finger compartment that they use as a secondary grip bar. And again, I feel like they kind of emulated that with these gloves, with that secondary grip bar, aside from the first grip bar, your main one. So that feels really good. Palm side feels good. Again, base of the thumb at the bottom feels very comfortable, and you can open and close your hands with relative ease. So using these gloves in training, there was really no areas in these gloves or on my hands that I felt that there was any type of discomfort or any point in time where I felt like I needed to take the gloves off because I was uncomfortable. So in terms of comfort, these are extremely comfortable gloves. Protection and performance, these are really the perfect training glove. If you're using these for sparring, they have a lace-up version as well. You know, there's no plastic patches. There's nothing on the glove itself that's going to cause any type of abrasions or cuts from like any type of plastic or patches on here. The consistency of the foam padding on here, so they use that Japanese and UK foam that they advertise, is really, again, I think they did a really good job of trying to kind of emulate Winning when it came to that consistency and that feel of the foam. Now, I'm not saying it's exactly the same. I'm just saying I feel that they were trying to emulate that just based on how they feel when I'm punching the bag with these. And when you're using this on the heavy bag, they feel very satisfying. You get a good pop and a good bang out of the gloves. For mitt work as well, they feel amazing. You don't feel like you have to hold back on power with your punches. They do a good job of absorbing shock. It's almost like the more harder you punch, the better shock absorption you get with these, because that foam really compresses down nicely, and you can really feel your shots landing over your knuckles, but it doesn't feel like you're transmitting all that shock into your hand. It does a really good job of basically dispersing that shock when you do land with your punches. So that feels great as well. So I definitely say it's a very balanced glove for your training. So everything in the gym you can achieve with this glove, hitting the mitts, bag work, sparring, you can do it all. So definitely a very well balanced glove, good protection, and I think it does a really great job at everything in the gym. Cost wise, these gloves, I know, hold your breath on this, are currently $433. Now that's the pinch point with these gloves, right? The cost of it. And that's the one thing I know everyone's been asking. Well, you know, they're $433. Are they worth it? That's crazy. It's expensive. And I agree, that is very expensive. You know, these are essentially, if you look at it just from an MSRP perspective, these are pretty much the same price, if not a little bit more than currently how much Winnings are going for. Now, I'm not talking about Winnings that are being, you know, scalped for $800 and up because people are trying to make money off of them and resell them. I'm just talking about the base MSRP if you were to buy it directly from Winning, from like Winning USA. So they're $433, which I definitely think is way high on pricing. I'm not saying that the gloves are bad. I'm just saying that the price to me is crazy. It's basically double the price of like their other SG series, their 200 series gloves, which are great gloves as well that you can get in genuine leather. The issue I have is that price jump. You're almost going up $200 for essentially a little bit better, you know, not a little bit better, but better leather, Italian leather. And the foams. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely think those are big improvements over the previous models, but I don't know if that's going to be able to justify me as a person that's looking to buy a pair of Phenoms to jump $200 more, because you'd be, well, like if I'm going to pay $433, I'm just going to give me 2 pairs of them, right? So, you know, at the $200 price point. So there's, to me, I could feel comfortable if I paid $300 for these, knowing what I know about these, training with them, and now doing this review based on all the criteria and how comfortable they are, and they perform great. So me saying that the price is too high I don't want to take that away from these gloves, because I think they're awesome. But I definitely think at $433, you're just way pricing yourself out you know, because people are going to be like, well, I'm just going to go with winnings. I'm just going to pay, if I'm pay 43, I'm going to buy winnings, or I'm just going to get grants or whatever, because people have that brand loyalty to certain brands. And if they're going to spend a ton of money, they're going to stick with something they feel more comfortable with spending their money on. But I definitely think these are great gloves. If you were to spend a $433, I don't think you would be disappointed with these gloves, because I think they've definitely checked all the boxes off. But to me, these are like a $300 to $350. That's where I would kind of put these gloves in that realm, and I would be comfortable saying, yeah, I would pay that amount of money and feel comfortable about that. But overall, definitely the best gloves I've used from Phenom. I love the fact that you get Velcro and lace up with these 3 colorways. I hope they come out with other colors as well, that maybe you can get 2 different colors instead of just one solid color throughout the glove. But overall, very satisfied with these, and I think they did a great job with this particular model. So if you guys have any questions or comments, put them down below. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Phenom SG-300S training gloves. I'll see you guys later. Peace.